What's going on, folks? Today we're in Steeda's very cold garage and we're going to be tackling a ball joint replacement on the Drift Fox. Now before we get down to business, I know I asked in my last video, as you can see, I'm a big fan of Grand Theft Auto. If you play Grand Theft Auto 5, please add me on Xbox because I really want to do the new heists. But anyways, what we're going to be doing today is installing these new Steeda X2 SN95 style ball joints. And I'm going to talk about these in a little bit more detail a little bit later, but I went ahead and picked up the rental 32-piece or 23-piece ball joint extraction kit from Advanced Auto Parts, and we're going to go ahead and tackle this job. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the front wheels off, get things broken down and disassembled, and then we're going to start to press out the old ball joints. Hey, look, just a pointer for you guys. If you're running this type of a lug nut, you want to get these things off of your car immediately. This is what I previously had, and I had one strip out on me with no warning, and it was an absolute nightmare trying to get this thing off of the car. So you want to get these things off of your car immediately. If you need a low-profile lug nut, this is not the answer. You want to get yourself something like this with the 5-point spline on it, but the inner spline ones, these things are bad news. Okay, so first of all, before you go ripping things apart, I'm replacing my ball joints because I'm hearing a clunking noise coming from the front end. And whenever you start hearing noises coming from somewhere in the car, what you want to do is you want to either with the wheel off or with the car lifted up, you want to give it what I call the jiggle test. And that's basically, you're going to try and articulate your parts and actually try to pinpoint where that noise is coming from. Now, when you take your stuff apart, your brake rotor is going to have some play in it. That's 100% normal. Your brake caliper is going to move around a little bit with the rotor. That's 100% normal. So you want to try and grab onto parts that aren't supposed to move. And as far as I know, the brake assembly is the only thing that's going to have a little bit of play in it while your wheel is off. So maybe it might even be best to do this test with the wheel on if you have access to a lift. So anyways, you just want to basically grab stuff and make sure nothing's moving around. I do see that I have a little bit of play here, but that's kind of normal for my setup. Originally, when I did the jiggle test, I did see movement in the ball joint, which is right here. I tightened it down a little bit more. It stopped moving, but I'm still going to go ahead and replace them because I use really crappy ball joints. Okay, in order to get access to our ball joint, which is down here, we've got to get this spindle out of the way. So in order to do that, we're going to unbolt these two bolts here for the strut. That's going to allow everything to drop down. Now, I'm not a fan of taking more things apart than what you need, so I'm going to save this part for very last, my tie rod. If I have to take that off, I will. But once it drops down, you're going to have space to get to this nut here, which holds your spindle on. Now at this point, if you don't follow my other videos, you might be asking yourself, what in the heck is going on under here? I've got custom control arms, but the process is going to be the same for you on your SN95 or Fox body. So let's go ahead, pull these out, let the spindle drop down, and see if we can do things without messing with my tie rod. Okay, before I continue disassembling, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to point out about my setup that you may not know what's going on. So I've converted this car to coilovers, which is fairly common, but most likely you're going to have, if your car's stock, you're going to have a spring going here. It's the same process, nothing's really different, but that's why mine's going to look a little bit different. Also, just a quick little tidbit of information. You can use Fox body ball joints if you have SN95 arms, as long as you put spacers on there, and the only purpose of these spacers is basically so that your castle nut can line up with the little hole, which, let me see, I don't even know if you guys can see it. There it is, yeah. It's so that the castle nut can line up with the little hole and you can put the cotter pin in there. These spacers aren't holding anything together, they just basically raise up the castle nut because these spindles are longer and the hole is actually in a different place. I have this Fox body ball joints because I intended on using Fox body knuckles, but that's a whole crazy long story that I don't want to tell today. So we're going to continue to pull this stuff off. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and pull my tie rod off, and I'm I'm just going to set my spindle off to this side. Okay, now that we got everything apart, you're probably going to find that you're going to have a hard time getting your spindle off of your ball joint. Now, what I actually did is I basically smashed it out from the top. You do not want to do this if you're taking the spindle off for any reason other than replacing this ball joint, because that's going to ruin the ball joint. So I smashed it on top of the threads, and as you can see, I've mushroomed the top of that spindle. That's done. This will never be used again. The proper way to do it is to actually strike right here with a nice good sized hammer, and your arm will actually drop out. So now that's ready to come out, and we can go ahead and use the tool to remove this ball joint. Alright folks, so at this point I have to admit, I've never used this ball joint press tool, but from what it looks like in the videos that I've seen, first of all, we're going to remove this dust boot, which basically helps to preserve your ball joint and keep the grease in it. So let's go ahead and pull that off first. Now with the dust boot removed, it looks like you take one of these funny looking pieces here, you put that over top of your ball joint, and then you take this adapter here and put on top of that piece. Somehow that doesn't look right to me.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so I finally got the ball joint press all figured out. It took me a good little while to figure out how to get this on here, and there's no specific right way to do this. Really, it's just whatever way works. And so what I've got here is I've got like the anyways, more details on this once I take it apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and press the joint out and then go through the same mess again trying to figure out how to press the joint in. Alright, in the last part you saw that I actually took it apart and actually inserted the ball joint into this little thread here. I don't know if that's proper or not, but it worked, and I'm just glad that it worked. Alright, so at this point in the show, I want to go ahead and talk about why I went with the expensive Steeda X2 ball joints versus an OEM style replacement. So first of all, I got these Fox Body ball joints off of eBay for $15. Everyone says don't go cheap on your ball joints because the cheap ones are absolute garbage. I'm not going to say that I regret buying these because this is what my budget allowed me to get at the time. I didn't expect them to go out after less than 9 months though. So these, they said they were garbage, they proved to be garbage, and they're trash. The Steeda X2 ball joints are pretty much at the top of the range as far as ball joints are concerned. These were $15. Regular ball joints are going to run you about $100. These run about $140. And the reason I went with these is not only because they're better quality, but also because they're supposed to correct roll center and suspension geometry and other things that you and I don't understand, because the height of this little pin here is actually a little bit taller. So if I actually line these ball joints up side by side, the way that they would sit inside the car. So as you can see, that's the bottom of the ball joint. That's how it lines up there. And you can see that this is slightly higher than the Fox ball joint. And I believe that would be even more apparent if I was actually using the SN95 style ball joint. So I guess that little bit of difference makes all the difference in the world as far as body roll and suspension. Now, this right here will actually cause your car to drop ½ an inch. So if you're using the standard Fox body suspension, it actually comes with some rings, which I've already lost, but you would place that at the bottom of your spring, which would be right here, but I have coilovers, so I can't even use that spring spacer. So my car should drop ½ inch, if not more, because my arms are longer. And if that happens, I'll just go in my coils and adjust it. So that's a summary of the X2 ball joint versus a standard ball joint. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and press this back in. Okay, so I'm getting ready to press my ball joint back in. As you can see, I've got the hole up top where the top of the ball joint's going to come through. I've got this flat piece down here at the bottom. I'm not really going to go into too much detail because every kit that you see is going to be different. They're going to have different adapters in them, and there's just no way around the fact that you're going to have to figure out how to assemble this thing yourself because they're all different. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you out too much with that, but you know, that's part of the fun working on cars, figuring crap out. So check this out. I can't even push the new ball joint and move it, and the old ball joint with 2 fingers just moves around all over the place. So that's another sign that you had bad ball joints. And the last thing to do is go ahead and put everything back together. During this process, you may have gotten grease on your hands. Just make sure that you don't put any kind of grease from your hands back onto the rotors, because that can actually ruin your pad. And then you're going to have a whole nother problem. I'd highly recommend getting yourself an impact for this job, because anytime you have suspension parts, there's things that spin on the other end and there's no way to hold it in place. When you have an impact gun, it's not a problem. Alright, so that's it for the ball joint install. Hopefully I don't have to mess with my riding height anymore. Now all that's left is for me to go ahead and do the same thing